Hey YouTube, it's Kidneydog. We're back. We're actually going to do a unpacking today. We are going to be doing real Pokemon cards instead of an online unpacking this time. So I got lucky this weekend, and there happened to be a pre-release event in my area for the new BreakThrough packs. I was given 6 packs, which we opened at the tournament itself, played through, and I'll go through those later. But first, I'm going to open up these packs and see what's left. These are the 2 packs that you get kind of the end of the playthrough. The pre-release events are actually really cool as far as attending them and participating in them. You get 6 packs right off the start to make a deck, and everyone's kind of got these weird little decks with odds and ends all over the place. And they give you energy to fill up the deck. And then you play a whole bunch of rounds, and after, we played 6 rounds, I think, for the Masters Division or whatever. But once you play the 6 rounds, you can pick up, 2 extra packs. So all in all, I got 8 packs. It did cost about $30 for the entry fee and stuff. But I thought it was a blast and it was a lot of fun because no one's necessarily got great cards. So I'm going to open these 2 up and see what's inside of them, and then I'll go through the other cards as well. So first up is this one. So we got a Zora, Moonless Madness, so 1 energy, Confusion, that's pretty awesome. There should be a Breakthrough Zoroark in this deck, or in this pack as well. And Dark Edge, discarding energy attaches to Pokemon, so that's not too great as far as the discard goes. What? So the Meowth with Exhausted Tackle, not really fond of that card. Bronzor, I used it. Sorry about that. I was trying to figure out how to not have shadow going onto the cards. Bronzor, I used it during the tournament. 60 hit points. The payback's pretty nice as far as a last ditch building yourself out of a debt. So I was actually kind of happy with this card. Skidoo, finally. I got a whole bunch of Go-Goats, but no Skidoos, so I'm really cool to actually get one of these. Not great as far as the damage goes, but the Go-Goat's pretty awesome. Staryu, which has continuous spin, flip until you get tails, does 10 damage per number of heads, which is better than the other Staryu that I had in the past. Parallel City, which is going to be hard to read. I guess not. This card's kind of neat. It punishes one player and rewards the other. If you play it right, you get to pick which way you play it. So you either limit your opponent to 3 bench Pokemon, or you limit yourself to 3 bench Pokemon. And the other person who doesn't have the bench limit will do 20 damage less with a Fire, Water, or Grass type Pokemon. So if you're not running a deck that's, got Fire, Water, or Grass in it, then you can probably just put that downgrade on yourself and limit your opponent to 3 Pokemon. Awesome. So I actually didn't have much luck getting EXs and stuff while I was at the tournament, but this is really sweet. So, oh, never mind, it's a Mega Houndoom. So it is really cool. I don't have a Houndoom EX though, so I can't actually play it. But 2 energy is not much in order to do 80 damage, and you can do 80 more if you discard all that's on it, which if you're running a Blacksmith card, you can just put those 2 back right on it, so that's pretty nice. Quilladin, which is nice, it doesn't hurt itself this time. 40 times the number of heads for 4 coins, that can be a lot of damage. Vanillish, okay damage, okay hit points, can put an opponent to sleep. And the Mewtwo Spirit Link, which is awesome because I do have a Mega Mewtwo EX card from these packs, but I don't have a Mewtwo EX, so just like the Houndoom, I have a Mega without the EX, and we'll use that code online some other time. So now for the other pack, which apparently doesn't want to open. Okay, so we got a Swinub, 60 hit points. Can put an opponent to sleep really easily with 1 energy. That's pretty nice. Sandshrew, double scratch, so okay damage. Can block a retreat from an opponent, and again, just 60 hit points. I'll get that out of the way because it's slipping around back there. Another Exhausted Meowth, don't really care for that. Pancham, I think the other Pancham from Furious Fist is probably better, unless you're really trying to discard cards from your opponent's hand. Fennekin, 10 to 30 or 10 to 40 damage. You don't have to discard energy, so that's pretty nice. Cubone, which is a little difficult to read. I'll try and flip it up. 70 hit points. The Whimsy Tackle, 50 or nothing. Obama Snow, that's cool. Ice Age, if it's dragon, you paralyze it, so it's automatic paralysis against dragons. but not too many people really run those. They're really hard to run. And the Frost Breath doing 110 damage, 130 hit points. It's a pretty decent stage 1 card. That's the Go-Goat I was talking about. 10 damage, 30 to something on the bench, and then 90 damage and healing 30. So that's pretty cool. The Swoobat, which its first attack just amplifies the second attack to do 120 instead of 60. So if you've got the time, it's nice to use, but that setup's a little bit annoying. Another Quilladin, and that looks like it's that for the ones that I unpacked here. So I'm going to try and briefly go through the ones that I already had unpacked from the event. So starting off, Town Map lets you look at your face-up prize cards. It's an item card. Professor's Letter, draw 2 energy card from your deck. Super Rod, put 3 of any combination of Pokemon and basic energy cards back into your discard. Parallel City, the Bronzer that I talked about. Cubone, when it's not hollow. Pancham. Sandslash, which now I finally have the Sandshrew for. 80 damage Swift, but only 90 hit points for stage 1. There's probably better options if you're looking for a fighting type deck. The Chestnut, which costs a grass and 2. Spike Lariat does 60 or 120 if they already have some damage on them. And the Adamantine Press doing 100 and reducing 20 damage is pretty nice. As far as 160 hit points, it's pretty nice if you can build up to it. Oops, look at that. So we got the Cacneo as Swagger, so you can discard energy. Chespin. There's a different type of Chespin, which can go digging around for energy, but they both of them have Seed Bomb for 30 damage, same energy cost. Quilladin I showed earlier, the Go-Goats. Granbull, which I think is pretty cool. I think it would be really neat to run a Granbull and Slurpuff deck, using the Slurpuff's ability to prevent the confusion that Tantrum should cause, because then you can just pitch out Tantrums round after round after round. And the Snubbull that goes under it. Roar for switching around, and Bite. It's pretty cool. Ralts, doing 10 and 20. Again, really weak. Aromatisse, I had someone use this against me, and it's really annoying being constantly confused, and if you're not confused, then they're preventing you from retreating. So really, once they have you confused, you gotta retreat that round, because otherwise they can just trap you out there confused. And again, the confusion doing 6 damage instead of 3 when it's from that. Panpour, just Fury Swipes. Froakie, just Pound. Frogadier, Cut. Again, some of the older Frogadier and stuff are better off. Piplup for Wave Splash, 30. Prinplup for Ice Beam and 30, but you can paralyze. The Vanillish, I showed earlier. Inkay, some of the other Inkays are better off. Fennekin, Braixen, which costs more but does more damage. Cyndaquil, which is cool because I happen to really like Cyndaquil, Quilava, and Typhlosion. So I'm really happy to see them come back into the deck. Simisear, which actually you can run like a fire-water deck, so that's pretty cool to be able to put water energy back into your hand. And the Hand Fling, doing 10 times the number of cards in your hand, so it's normally you can power up with your hand. The Corellia, being Psychic instead of Fairy like the earlier card. You can get supporter cards back into your hand, so if you're trying to run a mill deck, the Corellias might be a way to go, but it's better options in my opinion. Beheeyem, which can do 20 times the amount of energy attached to a Pokemon, which is nice, because the Mewtwo EXs get really powerful with energy. And the Side Beam, which confuses. So Beheeyem's pretty cool for shutting down those. The Gengar, which I actually didn't look at much, because I don't have the Gasland stuff. 130 hit points. You can poison an opponent and put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, so that's cool. It's splash damage, really. And Creepshow, where if you have 3 or more damage counters on an enemy, you can just knock it out. So that's really cool. You can just poison, put down a bunch of damage, and then eventually just start taking things out. But again, it's a stage 2, so you gotta work your way up to that. The Swoobat, the Haunter, and you can confuse a Pokemon every time you evolve to it, which is pretty awesome. Poison Ring, again, poison, and it prevents retreating. The Mega Mewtwo EX, this happens to be the Y version, I think. It's the Psychic version. Has a weakness to Psychic itself, and its attack does 10 plus 30 for each energy on this Pokemon and on your opponent's Pokemon. So it's kind of like the Yveltal EX, but it ramps up a lot faster. I was lucky enough to get one break card. So I happen to get the Noivern Break. I do happen to have a Noivern from a previous deck that I'll definitely be looking into a way of playing this. But I'm really not terribly impressed compared with the EX cards, which have like 180 hit points. The Noivern Break with 130 hit points and only doing 70 damage unless you happen to match your hand to your opponent. Kind of a hard setup, and it's probably more trouble than it's worth. Even being able to use something like Blot or the other Noivern's ability, Echolocation, to dodge damage, it probably just won't pay off in the long run. There's better off running other things, which is really sad. The Noivats, Blot to heal, Knockdown, we can reveal a hand, and the Speed Dive. It's got decent hit points for stage 1. Staraptor, again, I don't have the lower forms for it, so not too much I can really say about it. Brave Bird does a lot of damage, so that's pretty cool. Rufflet, attack for 30. Ursaring, the Dodrio, which assists with retreat, Fury Attack, Glalie Spirit Link, and then what I happened to run when I was there actually was a whole bunch of Magnemite and Electric types. It seems like I always wind up with decks of those. So the Magnemite, Shock Generator, Paralysis, and Lightning Ball for 20. The Pikachu, I prefer the Furious Fist Pikachus. They happen to have better abilities. They have more hit points, and their attacks do more damage or cause paralysis. So while being cute, these Pikachus, in my opinion, are lesser. The Magnemites, which are kind of cool, except its ability really is kind of worthless, to be honest, unless it turns out there's a Magnezone break or something, in which case that could be really cool, and is probably actually the case. But such low damage, I really don't know what the upper forms do. More Pikachus, more Magnemites. There's a different version of the Magnemite. And the last one, which was really the useful card that I tried to use for the tournament but rarely ever got out. The Raikou, which takes 20 damage less if you have an electric energy on it. And the Thunderlance doing 50 plus 20 for each electric energy you put on top of that. So that's pretty cool, and it ramps up really fast. So that's the Pokemon Breakthrough that'll be coming out in November. I think it's November 4th is when it becomes available to people. You can still go to pre-release events, find them at playpokemon.com. And they were a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. But all told, again, November 4th will be when these are coming out. And until then, you know, pre-releases are the only ways to get a hold on them. But the deck looks to be pretty cool. They seem to be very focused on the Psychic. But I don't know, a lot of people had Fire and Water, and I happen to get a lot of Electric, and I may have just been unlucky. But it's still pretty short on Steel and Dark types, so that's what you're looking for. But yeah, so that's the Breakthrough, and hopefully when that comes out, I'll be opening up a whole bunch of packs of the Breakthrough stuff